So what I'm doing, what I do to get in shape for this crap is if you see up behind me right there, you see that line right there? Well, that goes steep up the mountain. It's been freshly logged off. So my warm up is the gradual climb up the road till I get to where it was logged off. And then I start to go straight uphill, climbing up and over top of all that crap that's left over. And I'll make my way up to the very top of the cut and then I'll work my way back down again. And that is what I do to get in shape for mountain shape for a backpack hunt without horses. So the reason I do this is because there's no trail. Okay, there's no trail, and I got to climb up and over top of stuff nonstop. It's a pain in the ass. I have to watch where I put my feet, right? So what you're doing is you're getting your brain and your feet meshed up to be on alert, not to wipe out, take care of your body, not roll an ankle, and you're using every single muscle in your body that you're going to use in that backpack hunt, as opposed to hitting like a treadmill or a park trail or the side of a road, right? You want to practice, get ready to climb up and over top of all that shit and stuff that's really uncomfortable with your backpack on. So that's why I do what I'm doing today, and I'll hopefully do this every day from here on in, or at least every couple days until it's time to go. And by the time I'm good to go, I will have that hunt done. It'll be successful, and I will comfortably pack out 150 pounds plus for numerous miles to get out, and I won't hurt myself. So how I'm going to change up now is I've got my camera equipment, so my goal is to hike up to the top of my grade, pull out the camera gear, I'll record a couple of emails into me, and then I will pack up my stuff and hike back down. And that's the routine that I'm going to pull off the next month and a bit. So that's what I'm doing. Here we go. was a good sweater upper. Nothing too serious. And, the bugs are insane. I left the bug dope for the horse trailer. And I mean, these mosquitoes are unbelievable. But anyway, there you go. Hey, if any of you guys are watching and you want to get in shape for hunting, all you gotta do is hit some stairs. If you come from flat country, flat ground, go find a building with a staircase. And what I always do with all my hunters, for myself, no matter what kind of shape we're in, when I'm going straight up, except, okay, today when I'm by myself, whatever, but normally I'll count 40 steps going up the side of the mountain. That's my number, 40 steps, then I stop for a breather, 40 steps, and that's how I climb a mountain. And reason being is I found that 40 steps for me, and usually for my hunters, it's not quite enough to get you absolutely swamped, soaking, sweating out of breath. And you keep your composure fairly well so you can hold steady binoculars or make a steady shot if you have to, instead of just hammering up the mountain and getting all out of breath. So that's what I do. And anyway, I'm gonna get right to it. I'm getting gobbled. Let's see if I can make it through one of these emails to me without bleeding to death from these bugs. All right, here we go. Ready? Let's do this one. Good evening, Steve. I hope you're doing well, enjoying your trip. Condolences on the loss of Mac. Thank you very much for that. Animal lovers understand the bond and the loss of a best friend. I told you my first and second meeting with Sasquatch. After the second meeting, we moved about 10 miles away to my grandfather's farm. 2.5 years have passed for my most terrifying and up-close encounter. It was the summer of 1985. I graduated high school and I was preparing to head off to college. My mother had already taken a job 50 miles away and I stayed away from home during the work week. I had the place to myself. Daytime temps in the mountains of North Carolina reach the 80s, but at night it would cool off around the 50s. No need for air conditioning. I would open the window at the head of my bed and allow the cool night air to flow through the window screen. After dropping my girlfriend off at her house, I drove home, opened my bedroom window, proceeded to the den and kicked my feet up on the couch and watched TV. The couch sat 5 feet away from the front door and you could see the twilight and moonlight through the front door's window. It was a small window, maybe 24 long and 6 inches wide. They ran from the top of the 7-foot door down to about 5-foot level. It was just enough that you could look out and see who was at the door. Back in 1985, we had 3 channels on TV, and at 11 p.m., the news came on. Oh my God! It's insane, man. Bastards. Back in 1985, we had about 3 channels on TV, and at 11 p.m. the news came on all channels. So I got up and turned the TV off, grabbed my guitar, and picked a bit. I'd not played for long when I got that feeling. I was being watched. I sat the guitar down and just listened. We had a small 12-foot by 12-foot porch at the front door. I could hear the porch creaking. A brand new porch built from treated 2x6s. Every hair on my neck stood at attention. Then I looked toward the door window. It was solid black. No moonlight passing by, not even at the top. Something was blocking the window. Then the doorknob began to jiggle. I shouted, "Who's there?" No sound. At that moment I heard Papa's dogs coming, barking like crazy. I heard the entire porch screech loud and the light came on through the window. The dogs come and passed, barking the entire time. Whatever it was, didn't like dogs. I grabbed my .357 Blackhawk and stood guard all night. I never left the couch until daylight. Morning came, we had a softball tourney at our local field and I got home right at dark. I never turned the TV or any lights on. I sat down on the couch with my .357 and waited. Around midnight I heard the porch squeaking. This time I heard the heavy footsteps. I watched the window turn black again. Again, it grabbed the doorknob, jiggle, jiggle. I cocked a single action, pointed out the door and yelled, "I'll blow you to hell." This thing let out a scream straight from hell. It hit the side of the house, still screaming. When it stopped, I heard the dogs coming. Once again, it fled. I stayed on the couch again that night. Somewhere through the night, I dozed off. I awoke to the door coming open. I damn near shot my grandfather. It was daylight, and he wanted to know if I had been drinking the night before, and hit the porch with my Jeep, and how in the hell I busted the siding off the outside wall beside the door. I walked outside with him. The 12-foot by 12-foot porch was knocked off its pillars, and there was an arm print embedded beside the door as big as my leg and 20 inches long. I told my grandfather what had happened. At that time, he did not believe me. He said, "You came in drunk, ran over the porch. You must have beat the siding with your baseball bat." We spent the day making repairs. Night number 3 comes around. Oh, are you kidding me? All the way down the frickin' slope. No way. All right, let's see if I can pull this off. Night 3 comes around. My mother had returned home from work, and I listened to a speech about drinking and having a bad temper and hitting the house with a bat. She proceeded to turn on the TV, and I knew she would watch the news, so I went to my room, opened the window for some cool night air, turned up the lights, and called my girlfriend on the phone. Note, I had my own phone and number, and my mother had a separate line. This info will come into play. Girlfriend and I chatted like only 18-year-olds can, then my life changed forever. A putrid smell of shit, piss, and death filled my room. I could hear heavy footsteps, 2-legged footsteps. I told Kelly of the smell. She laughed and said, "Skunk." I said, "No, I've smelt this before." And I could hear it walking. Then less than 24 inches from my head, I heard the breathing. Inhale, 15 seconds. Exhale with low growl, 15 seconds long. Long, slow, and deep. I freaked out. I told Kelly what was happening. At first she joked and said, "No way." I told her I was going to shoot the screen. This damn thing was directly beside me. This damn thing was blowing its breath on me. Ever been scared so... Ever been so scared you couldn't remember what happened? I remember trying to cock the gun, but in my head something was saying, "It won't work, it won't hurt him, don't do it." I remember crying in fear and telling Kelly this monster's right beside me, and his breathing got louder and deeper, and the stench made me sick. I hear, and then I see a huge hand on my screen, push the screen in. I heard the dogs barking. This time the barking was pure fear, just high-pitched yelps. Then the cry of a dog in pain, the sound of a shotgun being fired, and the blackberry bushes and the grapevines being torn down. The support timbers of the vine snapping like twigs, a blood-curdling yell fading away, and then the voice of my grandfather outside my window. "Dick, are you all right?" Kelly had hung up and called my mother, and Mom called Papa. Kelly had also heard the breathing and growling and the fear in my voice. She knew something wasn't right. My grandfather put a load of buckshot in the, quote, bear, end quote, and ran off. The next day I went with my grandfather to inspect the grapevines. It looked like a tank had rolled through them, but there in the middle of the garden was a 20-inch perfect 5-toed footprint. 9-foot strides between each step. Pap looked at me and said, "Go get the shovel and rake. Get these things covered up for your grandmother to see them." Oh my God. After cleaning up the garden footprints, I went to my bedroom window, and there, imprinted on my screen, was a handprint 3 times the size of mine. I can only imagine the force required to bend the screen and leave the perfect handprint. My grandmother said we would never speak of it again, but I needed to get gone. This is the 3rd time it has come to you. You remember the huge handprints and destruction of my great uncle's sawmill 5 years earlier, and the dead steer. The night it followed me home 3 years back. You have done something to it. You need to go stay with your sister until college starts. I was more than happy to oblige. It would be 25 years before I'd have interaction with it again. A few years back, my old girlfriend and I spoke at a reunion. She said, "You remember that night Bigfoot came in your window?" Yeah, I sure do. And there is another one. And that sure doesn't sound like much fun, does it? And this man has emailed me a few times in the past, and I believe a few of his stories actually went into the new book that I've got coming up here pretty quick. What a sentence, isn't it? I mean, you gotta admit, a lot of these people who have these ongoing experiences, what a freaking sentence. It just sucks. And, I've had a handful of experiences myself. Nothing quite that intense. Luckily, not yet. But, for you guys to understand my frustration with a lot of these people out there who call them, you know, the so-called big names in this, when it comes associated with this topic. It really makes me angry. I think I made it clear in a video ago or so just how much it makes me angry when you know that people who are in a position to mislead the masses and nonstop lie and pass off false information. And that is what 99.9% of these so-called big names in the Sasquatch Bigfoot community are doing. And they know it. And if they're listening right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're a dirtbag. Every one of you guys is a bunch of shitbags. You know, David Clyde, Scott Carpenter, Richard Germeau, Adrian Erickson, a handful of people went out and collected over 130 DNA samples from these things around North America and other places away from North America. They did that. It's been done. Every single one of you know that's been done, and you still insist on lying to the people. And that is absolute bullshit. And you know what? I'm not going to stop pointing that out until I have everybody well aware of the bullshit dinner platters you pricks have been delivering up to the people for many years. And it's time it came to an end. And the DNA's in. These things are a hybrid human of some type. On average, it's not a very good thing to go pursuing these things intentionally. That's all there is to it. Myself and a handful of other people are concerned about everybody out there. We're going to be putting together something that will help all of you deal with this bullshit and help detour these experiences somewhat as best we can. Somebody has to, right? But anyway, there's another one. I got another one I got 10 or 20 more on my phone right now, but I don't think I can make it through videotaping a second one. So maybe on tomorrow's hike I'll bring the bug dope and I'll be able to sit down and relax and tape up a few more of these emails and share them with all of you and keep this direct line of honest knowledge streaming to you guys as often as I can. Without bleeding to death from these mosquitoes. Holy shit.